This is the Real Digital Transformation podcast series, empowering technology and business professionals to succeed with digital transformation. Now, here's your host, best-selling author Thomas Erl.
Hi, this is Thomas Erl, and welcome to another episode of the Real Digital Transformation podcast series. Today I have with me Viral Tripathi, a technology executive that specializes in technology and leadership strategies, in particular AI and AGI. Today we'll be talking about AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence specifically, and we look forward to Viral's insights. Viral, welcome.
Thank you, Thomas. Very excited to be on this podcast. Thanks very much.
It's a very exciting topic because we've now been going through so much adjustment and adaptation with regards to the integration of what I'll refer to as standard AI within business, within the workforce, within our personal lives as well. But now we're hearing so much about the coming emergence of artificial general intelligence. It's not something new per se, but it will be something new once it enters the IT mainstream at some point. So what I was thinking is that before we talk about all the implications of that, perhaps you could just give us an overview of how AGI is different from standard AI.
That's a great question to start, Thomas. Since the AI is not new, and as you said, standard AI has been around, but there's been a lot of excitement in the business communities since Gen AI arrived, right? Specifically the generative AI aspect of it, which was an evolution. Since then, now what is next is what we should look at. So, what is the difference between what we have today and what's coming in the future is the way I would look at it. So, today we have standard AI, or narrow AI as it's called, and it can perform a lot of the functional specific tasks, right? It can execute functional specific algorithms. We have chatbots that can give answers and things like that. But what would be different is the automation aspect of it. And AGI, as many people term it, artificial general intelligence, is something that can emulate human behavior, the reasoning and the empathy aspects of it. So, how will AGI differ from the current AI? The key difference is the generalization and the autonomy that it provides. It will also be able to improve its own performance, again, autonomously, and adapt to new environments, business environments, without the need to be large scale reprogramming and refactoring efforts. So that's the way I would look at the two AI models.
Okay, and just elaborating on that a bit more, if I'm in a standard business operating, I've integrated standard AI functionality into my business automation systems wherever it made sense to do so. I have now the ability to benefit from things like automated decision making or insightful analysis results or content that is useful to my business being automatically generated. Those are things I may have accomplished or I'm working on accomplishing right now in my business. And then someone comes to me and says, hey, you should really look at AGI. It's on the horizon. It's coming soon. And so my next question will be, specifically, what will AGI give me in the future that I am not now already getting from my predictive AI system or my generative AI system? If you have any specific benefits or examples, that would be really helpful.
Sure. So again, AI in today's day has been built for specific functions. But with AGI, the other way of looking at is it will have an autonomous sort of brain that can manage complex and interdisciplinary tasks. So the difference is between executing specific functions based on key algorithms versus executing entire tasks. If you look at a corporate worker, somebody in business, they do multiple tasks to accomplish their job. Today's AI helps in subsections of those tasks, but not in the entire journey as a whole. What will be different and what we would say businesses should start preparing for and starting developing strategies for AGI is so that the entire task from end to end, the business process, can be reimagined and executed through AGI models.
And how will AGI models be better than standard models? I know you've talked about them being more autonomous, them being able to adapt on their own. But if I'm right now automating, let's say I have a business automation solution that incorporates AI, generative AI with a chatbot that can interact with my customers autonomously to some extent based on how its underlying model was trained with data about our products and services and so on. And now AGI becomes available at some point commercially, more commonly as a commodity. What would make me want to redo my automation solution to adopt an AGI system with an AGI model, just in terms of like common business applications?
Correct. So AGI will not just understand languages, images, and structured data, but it will also be able to adapt, reason, and plan. And it's going to be a journey in how AGI arrives. So just yesterday, a new model has been launched by OpenAI called O1, and it can already quote unquote think, meaning it can evaluate its own answer before providing it to the user, which means it's got this ability to quote unquote think, and that means hallucinate less and check its own work. So that is another nature. Bringing that into the business environment, what it means is CIOs like myself and business leaders would have to start looking at building the infrastructure, having multimodal data sets that are ready for ingesting diverse data sets, combining natural language, visual data, various types of sensory inputs, and also add on cross-domain learning so that those models become more and more efficient and learn effectively. I'll take example. For example, if you look at the talent journey, human resources function, when every business needs to hire talent, so they go out, they have a job description. Based on the job description, the recruiter slash talent expert would go out and source talent. Once they have identified a pool of talent, they would start screening them. Once they screen and shortlist the talent, they would initiate the interview process. And for those who pass the interview, they would go hire and onboard. In today's day, parts of that journey have been fully automated using AI, but parts. For example, generative AI can write or fine tune job descriptions. Generative AI can generate pre screening questions that the human can ask. So it's a human in the loop approach. Generative AI can assess the quality of the answers and even do sentiment analysis and voice analysis, things like that. In the world of AGI, this entire thing could be taken by digital twin and executed from end to end, fully autonomous without a human intervention. Now, that is the promise, and there are a lot of nuances that need to work around. But the core idea again for businesses is to reimagine the entire journey and rebuild the systems from end to end. And there will be more and more such use cases coming in, which also leads to a point about ethical implementations of AI and governance around it.
Um, so I know that you're focused on executive leadership and technology adoption, and you have teams that actually implement these AI systems for you in your projects. So let me know if this question is too technical, but I'm just curious, when if you're talking to another CEO interested in this in the future, and they're going, well, okay, this is this might be of value to us. We would like to bring it in whenever it's ready commercially, and whenever we're ready to adopt it. But just so that we have an advanced awareness, how is an AGI system different from a standard AI system? Is it basically the same overall type of system, except you're training a different model? Or is the nature of the system itself different? And does it require different infrastructure to bring it into a business?
Yes, so that's a great question. And Thomas, the way I would look at it, and I define AI strategies in the past, and now I'm building AGI strategies for the enterprises of the future. The way I look at it is, what are the foundational steps that a CEO must take to ensure his or her business is ready for the future when AGI arrives? And those foundational steps, the good news here, those foundational steps are not too far away from what you need to succeed in a AI world, because AGI is in a sense a evolution, the next step in the maturity curve. So, what are those core foundational models? I would say 5 things you need to do. Number one, you must establish a data strategy. I still see people struggling with data, how it is collected. Do you collect all the data? Where it's generated, how it's stored, how it's processed, and how insights are derived from it. So data has the volume, the velocity, the veracity, the value, multiple aspects to it. A sound and robust data strategy is an absolute must, and in this case, and that will build a solid foundation. So that's number one. Number two is, once you have built this data strategy, you need a scalable cloud architecture, and that cloud architecture will evolve and will be more flexible. Computational power and storage that is necessary to process all this data is what you would need. Number three, you must foster a culture of innovation. This is the time to learn, experiment, fail if you must, but fail small, fail fast, and move on until you hit the right use cases. So you need to get into that culture of innovation beyond the boundaries of just IT and tech and R&D, right? Once you've done that, then the fourth thing, which goes hand in hand with the culture of innovation, is cross-departmental collaboration. The days of working in silo are gone. These are like end-to-end process transformations. AI is just a means to accelerate your digital transformation, right? So if you don't have that cross-department collaboration, you are going to look into smaller applications or parts of the journey, not an end-to-end process. So I would encourage businesses and IT to build real partnerships and build AGI strategies are so intertwined. No separate business strategy or a tech strategy, just one strategy, and that's it. And the fifth thing, as I mentioned earlier, there's an element of ethics. So is the implementation of AI ethical, and how do we govern it? So those are the five things that I would focus on. And if I may just add one more thing about how important data and cloud are. Data is the fuel for AI. Cloud is a processing power for AI. And the trifecta of data, cloud, and AI, in my opinion, is going to form the absolute backbone for the businesses of the future. And AGI will be the intelligence that ties all these things together.
That's really helpful. I think those are 5 solid foundational steps any organization should consider. And my question would be, everything you just described, and especially that relationship between data architecture, cloud computing, and AI, would you consider those, and I guess also the ethics aspect of it, are all those factors more amplified with AGI? So is it, if you look at a AI system you're bringing in, and a data architecture you're building around it, or a legacy data architecture that you're bringing it into, the same process with AGI, would it be a more elaborate or complex data architecture to train the model of an AGI system, or is it relatively the same? And then cloud computing, putting an AI system now in a cloud computing environment, you use cloud services, you use cloud resources to give you the scalability, reliability, the storage you need for it. Is that, again, more elaborate, more complex, more expensive to do with an AGI system? And then also ethics. With ethics, we have governance, we have policies that now are applied to AI systems to make sure that the decisions they make, the content they produce, factor in ethical concerns to avoid things like bias and so on. But with a more autonomous AGI system that has greater human-like thinking and processing capabilities, are ethics also now a much more important factor, or much more important risk factor as well? So these steps you outlined. Before we conclude, I just want to ask, how much more does an AGI system need attention in relation to those areas? And anything else you can add so that CEOs can just have more awareness of the potential impact of adopting AGI systems?
Yeah. So, Thomas, I believe this AGI is going to be a lot more complex. AGI will be a multiplier for digital transformation and accelerating outcomes for companies. And the complexity is just going to grow. And let me qualify that a little bit more. We spoke about the training data sets and the task-based versus functional specific AIs, right? In today's world, the task focus of narrow AI versus AGI requiring very generalized and cross-domain understanding. For that, what impacts on the data is, today it's like large data sets and domain-specific data sets, but in the future it'll be multi-model, diverse data sets from various domains available at large quantities, high velocity, the need for veracity, and the must derive value from it through insights. The learning approach in today's world in AI is supervised learning and unsupervised learning, or what we call transfer learning, versus in AGI, there's going to be more reinforcement learning and lifelong learning and meta learning that's going to evolve. What does that mean in terms of computation? Is today, GPUs and TPUs are talking points for everybody, and some companies, the stock price has significantly reflecting that value that they bring into the high computation requiring powers. But in future, that's going to grow even more. Extremely high reliance on computing, which needs more power, more computing sources, and billions are being invested in that. And that's where possibly quantum computing and some neuromorphic architectures will come into play as well. Same way, learning will become autonomous and continuous learning environments. So there are a lot more complexities than we deal with today, but being able to stay ahead of those through the foundational elements we talked about will help achieve that. And when AGI arrives, companies who manage to ride the journey along with and are early adopters will see a multiplier effect in their digital transformation outcomes.
Wow. Okay. So, last question, Viral. Where are we at now with regards to the emergence of AGI? When do you see it become a commodity in mainstream API? How far off is that?
That's a fantastic question, and that's a huge debate going around that thing. So a lot of people think AGI is going to materialize in the next 3 to 5 years. Some people feel like it is a moonshot that will never happen. Some people think it might be decades. My personal feeling is AGI is a journey and path to evolution, and it's not a destination. It's not going to announce itself like, "Hey, I'm here today." But it, with the release of O1 yesterday, this might be incremental path to AGI because it now promises PhD level intelligence versus a high school or a college grad level intelligence. It promises the quote unquote think before it answers the questions. So again, I what I do know is it's coming. It's coming rapidly. The progress that is making made is not linear. It's happening very fast. And what myself and other tech leaders should do is the CIOs need to drive this, be in the front and center of it, and become the architects for their company's AGI strategies and build the roadmaps so that as and when it arrives, they're ready and not scampering as we saw many companies doing when Gen AI arrived.
Super. It sounds very exciting. It would not surprise me if it started to emerge sooner than later, just based on my sense of the interest in it and the potential and organizations' curiosity about its applications for their business, the risks associated with it. It sounds like quite the leap from standard AI. And so I think as more and more interest is generated, it'll help expedite its emergence through more aggressive, vendor activity and research activity. So before we finish, Viral, just please take a few minutes to tell us a bit more about yourself and your background and the direction you're going with regards to your work specifically with technology leadership in relation to AI and AGI.
Yeah, happy to do so, Thomas. So I am a technology I'm a technologist at heart, passionate about technology. I've been in the CIO role for the past 4 or 5 years. Before that, I was a CTO as well. And before that, I was with one of the big fours as an advisor of technology at the forefront of cloud when cloud came around, and have led a number of mergers and integrations and supported companies in their tech integrations as well as separations and carve outs. So, been a technologist for 30 years, started my career in tech out of India, moved to the US, have lived and worked out of UK and helped clients all across the world. And super excited to be in technology at this point with the rapid advancements in AI and generative AI and the future of AGI that we are looking at. I believe I'm in the forefront and lucky to be in the midst of it all. And I wouldn't trade that for anything else. And I'm so excited and looking forward to helping the companies I work with to maintain a leadership role in the industry and contribute towards achieving digital transformations and the ultimate business outcomes that technology can help achieve.
Awesome. Viral, thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to speaking with you again sometime in the future, perhaps when we're a bit closer to AGI's evolution.
Thank you very much, Thomas. I truly enjoyed our discussion, and I'll absolutely take you up on that second conversation as well.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Follow Thomas on LinkedIn